Hey everyone, Levi here with Trident Fly Fishing, and today we're going to be tying a Bumblebee solid terrestrial pattern anywhere bees are present, which is in quite a few places. Trout will eat this, bass will eat this. It's a good searching pattern and it's really buoyant, so you can drop a nymph off the back of it, sort of use it as an indicator. We're going to get started off the vise with a bee Wasp Body from Rainey's Float Foam. This is 3/16 of an inch. These things make your life really simple whenever you're tying bumblebees. So grab one of those, and there's one end that has sort of a thick black marking on it. So what we're going to do is start right on that first black barring, and we're going to cut a slit that goes all the way to the end of this. And you want to make sure you're really getting in there. Otherwise, it'll give you some trouble when you go to tie it in. But that's the first step to this, and now you can set that aside. It's prepped for the fly. So let's move on to our hook now. And for a hook, we're using a Kona curved stonefly nymph hook, sort of a clink hammer hook. It's a nice short shank with a nice wide gap on it, and I also like the black nickel finish for this fly. So let's lay down our thread, which is some flat waxed nylon, color black. You could also use yellow. So get in there, clip that off once you get to about the bend, and advance it forward. So now that we have some thread on the hook, we're going to move in here with some super glue. I just want to put a little base down for that foam bee body to seat into. It's not wholly necessary, but I do like the additional durability. So we want to get that right on there, and then as that's drying, I'm just going to compress it with my thread and work it in there. If you tie it on while the glue is drying, you're gonna get a pretty bomb-proof body on there. And now you have that nice extension. And then we're gonna move into some more foam. This is a 2mm black thin fly foam. Cut yourself off a square that's probably 1/3 of an inch, and then I'm gonna taper it down here just a bit, like so, with my scissors. And then, like I always do with foam, I get in there and I compress it against my index finger with my thumb. And what that does is gives you a nice thin tie-in point, so you don't have to worry about any unnecessary bulk. So now that we've compressed our foam, I'm gonna lay it right on top of the hook shank and secure it in there with some wraps. I'm gonna cover that all up just so that it sort of marries together with that thorax and makes everything nice and neat. You do want to make sure you're right on the up against that eye, because we're going to pull this over bullet head style. And from here, some white polypropylene yarn. I'm going to clip that kink off and cut myself off about 1.5 to 2-inch long piece. You can always trim it, so err on the side of longer. Get in there with my bodkin and just straighten these fibers up. Sometimes off the card they can be a little stuck together. You do want to measure this so that it extends beyond that body. So bring your thread right in front of the body, and I'm just going to wrap that around, pull it upward, and lock it in. You'll see how that goes just behind the body, which is exactly what I'm looking for. All right, so now that we have the body and wing tied in, we're gonna move into some ice dub for the sort of head. This is a UV black color. It's got a little bit of sparkle to it, which I tend to like. So get yourself out a little bit. We'll apply it to our thread and get that head formed. This is a fly that lands on the water with a really nice and enticing plop that I've seen trout kind of rush to, and for me that's a really exciting way to catch them. So work your dubbing right on up the thorax, one side, and come in with a little more. We want to end it right in front of that wing. And everything that we're using today can be found at tridentflyfishing.com, and orders over $49 ship for free. Get on there and get everything you need. Alright, so now that that's on there, we're going to just wind it on back. And once we have our thorax, let's pull this foam rearward, secure it in. You don't want to come in with a whole lot of pressure because you may cut through your foam, but get it locked in there and trim it with about 1/4 inch remaining. I'll soften those ends off just because I kind of like the way it looks better. It's not necessary though. So for legs, we're using grizzly barred rubber legs. This is a black yellow, perfect for our bees. You don't need a whole lot, so I'm just gonna chop off one side, and then I'm gonna fold this over, cut it, and we'll tie the one facing us in nearest. A couple securing wraps, and you can invert your vise if need be. Makes your life a little easier, and get that one in tied in on the other side. From here, we're gonna hit it with a whip finish. Using your hand to whip finish is definitely easier on this one, and we can trim this off. Not quite done because I want to shorten these legs a bit. Those are just a little too excessive for me. But that is a bumblebee. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.